And you're on the dock right here with Pastor Troy on the dock.org every Tuesday and Thursday, dropping out episodes out of the sky, out of the cloud, right into your lap. We're on the dock. Go find us there. And new podcasts are coming out. We're all about this creed. Conversations to propel your faith out of the shallows and into the deep. Come sit down with us for a little bit, ride in the car with us wherever you are. And we hope to propel your faith, make it stronger, get you out of that bay, out into those deep waters, and look out for the lighthouse there. Jesus will guide you along the way. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. Those are our primary platforms. Also Google Play, Facebook, Roku, Rumble, and SermonNet. And we'd love to hear from you on our social media partners, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Telegram, and Getter. We'd love to have conversation with you, questions about our guest today, anything you want to share, we will engage with you. Just watch out for that. Anytime we have something you can talk about, our amazing producer will put up those lower thirds and remind you. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Telegram, and Getter, and you can be a part of our show. Also, look, she has them up there. That's fantastic. Way to go, Donna. The lower thirds weren't working, but we got them fixed right before showtime. Subscribe, hit like, notify wherever you find us. Bug other people, harass them, send them links, tell them they're not cool if they don't watch the show on the dock. Go to my Patreon, download the app. Patreon is where you can become a partner sponsor of the show. Go to Patreon, look up On the Dock, and you will find 4 ways to partner with our show, 3 ways to sponsor. And today, we will unveil 6 microphones during this series. Don't think we'll use them in the first show. You will see 6 microphones because one of our partners out there made a way. What's funny is he did it to bring back Donna, and we took Donna's microphone away and put it into Studio B today. So you will see our beautiful Studio B in this episode, maybe today, or maybe in the second episode. We'll engage it. We'll see what happens. But if we get one more mic, we'll bring Donna back again. We'll work on that. Donna is micless and cameraless today, but she is in studio. We may have to make you run all the way over to Studio B just to be seen later. Yeah, later on you can do. Oh, yeah. She's got a lower third, but she's not in the picture. So later on, we'll send you over there just so people can see you in one episodes. Go to Patreon, be a partner or sponsor, 4 levels of partnership, 3 levels of sponsorship. Check it out and be a part of our team at Patreon. Also, SL&T, they're one of our new producer. We're doing products for them this year. SLNT.com. Protect your silence, your right to discount. Go to SLNT.com /discount /OTD. Check out your Faraday bag products. You guys don't know this here, but in here is my phone. It's not in airplane mode. It's in a Faraday bag. Nobody knows. Google can't find me. The government can't find me. You can get secrecy. If you're going to an airport, they make them for your laptops and different things. Your key fobs. People can copy your key fobs from outside your house, steal your car without even coming in your house. You can get them for your key fobs, for your visas, for different things, purses, different things. And on the bags, it's not all the compartments, it's certain compartments. So you can use that to protect your privacy wherever you are. Go to SLNT.com, put in promo code OTD to get our discounts and specials on shipping, or go to our own landing page, SLNT.com /discount /OTD. We'll show you a commercial on this at the end of the show today. Go to onthedock.org. If you're completely confused, you'll find all of our links to all of our shows. You can get linked to every one of our platforms. You can find out about all these things like Patreon and SLNT. Check that out. And if you're utterly confused like I am now, you can email Donna at info@onthedock.org, and she will help you figure it out. I'm your host, Pastor Troy. I have got beside me a surprise. I didn't expect it. Mother Beth is in the house. Mother Beth, how you doing? She's shooting today because our 2 other co-hosts, one of them had to go fill out a government form. The other one's on his way from work, so we're going to get them in here very soon. But Mother Beth is co-chairing with me. She co-chairs most shows. But we were going to throw her out because we had the guys from programs like yours, but we're going to get you there. And I got Donna Kanuski. You can't see her, but here's her lovely dressage. That's her lovely face there. She's here in studio. You can't see her on camera today. And we will very soon have our other guests in studio. Hopefully John, Steve, and Dan Piles will be taking part of this later on, but I'm giving them no credit till they show up. We're in this season we did Building a Stronger Church series. That's our super series. And the other super series for season 3 is our Taking It to the Street spotlight. We've done several spotlights. Today we have a special one we put together today, and we are literally filming this show and showing it almost in the same week. We never do that. And this one is on the subculture. You'll find out about the subculture. It's gonna be a great show. I'm as excited about this as I've been anything. Matter of fact, people are tired of hearing about it at our church. I talk about it at church and stuff. Yeah, I did. I really did. I've been telling them all about.
They're very tolerant.
Yeah, he was shocked. I'll introduce Dale in a minute, but Dale was shocked when he found out that I actually talked about him on Sunday. I even had his picture up at our church right after, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, this segment here is called The Subculture. It is part 1 of this series. I think this is going to be a 3 or 4 part series. It's going to be great, and you do not want to miss any of these 3. And I think we'll end up with an incredible roundtable when we're done, and you need to hang in to see that, hopefully in part 4. You can go back, season 1 and 2. We've got all kinds of episodes. This is our 201st individual episode. Check those out in season 1 and 2, and we're wrapping up season 3 here, and this is going to be a great show. Spotlight. part 1, the subculture. I've got on studio with me, I've got our guest today in the hot seat, Dale Vaughn, founder, director, and CEO of the Subculture, and lots of other things you're going to find out. Dale, welcome to On the Dock.
Well, thank you so much.
Fantastic.
I do this all the time.
All the time. You're ready to go. No, you can do this. You're a good speaker. In the seat next to him, I said you could bring a number 2. You can bring a number 2. You can bring a stand-up man, a defender, a bodyguard. He brought this big dude, thick-armed man. We went and ate pork chop sandwiches at House of Hope today. They're big old sandwiches, and I looked over his hand. They look like little sliders. You know, this guy's got big forearms on him, and I mean, he's so rough-looking. We put the picture with his wife just so it'd soften him up a bit. We've got Steve Hammond from High Point Ministries in Vienna, Illinois. North of us, south of us. You guys got us surrounded. That's right. Steve, welcome to On the Dock.
Thank you.
We put your picture with your wife. We just didn't want to cut her out. I mean, that picture, that's what he sent us. And you guys look like a good couple.
Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic. Good to have you here. And we'll get more into your story here in a minute, but we're ready to get going here on the dock. I met Dale recently. We went to Kingdom Come Festival in Kokomo, Indiana. It's a kind of a heavy metal Christian festival. It's been going on quite a few years, 8, 9 years, something like that?
I think they are close to 10.
Yeah, close to 10 years. Yeah. And I found out about it 2 years ago when Danny, one of the guys in our church, got saved. Danny's got a great story. And he talked me into going to this heavy metal Christian concert so he could re-engage the metal community, but for Jesus this time. So we went, my wife and I went 2 years ago. We set out by the half track. That's where we set the first year. The half track we were right where we were. And we set far enough away that we wouldn't be like killed by sound. And Donna will tell you, I promoted the thing for 3 months and we were the only ones that went, but we promoted it for 3 months. Yeah. And I would tell people, we want you to go with us. We want you to go listen to Jesus, you know, and that's how I promoted it.
Exactly how it is.
It is. But we found out there was a rapper, there was a couple other musics, there were softer musics, but there were lots of Jesus. And what's crazy is some of the girls shout Jesus. I mean, they can get into it, man. There were some good ones like Chaotic Resemblance, and we Disciple this year.
Jesus.
Yeah, they get it. But we also learned...
This next song's about Jesus.
We saw some of the best ministry to people we did not know how to reach. Now, I reach people through Hands of Hope and through our Hair and House Hope ministries and other ministries, but this group was reaching and breaking the walls down in people that I thought, man, the church doesn't even know how to talk to. And I sit there and learned how to connect a little better using different models of ministry. And I come out of a CCM background. I've done those kind of concerts. And I thought, man, I got to figure out how to bring this to Southern Illinois. So I went back this year, Hands of Hope Foundation that I lead. We went back and sponsored this year, just went back to help. And in doing that, I set a goal to find a way to bring some of this subculture type music, some of this heavy metal Christian back to Southern Illinois. I helped do some of this in 89, 90, 91 when we did the Expo Fest. And we had One Back Pig and Holy Cow and Milo and Lefevre here, and we had White Cross. That was the music of that day. And we had DC Talk in those days and different ones like that. And you know, that was a long time ago. And I just don't know if anybody here would go listen to heavy metal. Christian music, I just didn't know there's a crowd for it. And then the more I began to talk to my friends, like Dan, Pastor Dan will be here in a minute, and Pastor John, they said, well, we got people, I mean, would eat that up. And I thought, I didn't know that. Oh, yeah. You know, I didn't know all those people would go to that other thing. I didn't know that somebody could scream Jesus and then lead people to Jesus. I thought when you scream Jesus like that, that was like a cuss word. You know, I found out it wasn't. It's somebody using their gifts to cry out to God in a different form, and God just inhabited it. I just didn't know God could inhabit that like that.
Yeah,
and I said,
your youngest daughter is into that music.
Yeah, my youngest daughter does that, but she's in Colorado. They're weird people. So Megan's weird. But I mean, I learned very quickly God inhabits the praises of his people. I've always said that. I just didn't know he'd inhabit those people's. You know, we use that around here a lot. We try never to do those people. I just wasn't. I didn't have an ear tuned to that. And over the last 2 years, I've really learned to appreciate that. Yeah. And in one of the stages this year, I met Dale. Dale was producing one of the whole platforms there at KCF, and in the process, everybody comes to me and says, like, my wife comes to me and says, you know, the guy that's in charge of this, he's just from Mount Vernon. And I said, we had to go all the way to Kokomo, Indiana to find the person we need to help us do something in Marion. And why couldn't we have just stayed here? You know? And then Danny comes to me and goes, you know, the guy that's in charge of this is from Mount Vernon. I said, yeah, I've heard that, you know, and I'll meet with him. You know, he was doing a big plug for a big show, and we connected, and next thing you know, he's here. So Dale, I mean, tell us about the subculture. What does a subculture do? What's it about?
To be honest with you, the subculture is, we started it as a street outreach and quickly found out that it's basically becoming like a basket for the people that get shunned away from the church in general. So we're like a big basket catching fish that are flailing around looking for a place to belong that they can't find a place to belong. So we found out real quickly that there is a whole sect of people that don't necessarily hate God. They just don't feel comfortable in the environment that God has put into.
And I understand that. I didn't feel uncomfortable. I initially didn't feel comfortable in that environment. You can see how, whoa, this is really different. But then you start appreciating, you realize there is a similar hunger. It just different looking outside.
Right. And so all these people came in different flavors, whether they were addicts or struggling with just finding a place to live, or they had convictions from felonies, or maybe their sexual orientation didn't quite match what the church believes your sexual orientation should look like. All these different things that the church should welcome in, but they were feeling rejected or closed off, or told, go see the guy on this side of town because he works with your type people. We've heard that a million times. So that's really where where we started finding our place. We just started as a little thrift store that was going to support the local shelters that were in our town, take a percentage of the profits and support the local shelters, because my idea was, why try to fix a wheel that's already in motion? Just try to support it, right? But you quickly find that there's more of a need than either they can handle, or maybe they still can't accommodate the people that are coming through due to state regulations or background checks or whatever. So it still leaves this big sect of people that are just out there flailing around looking for a place and can't find anyone to come alongside them and help them. So that's where we quickly found our
So it
position.
started with the thrift store side.
Yes.
What is where the thrift store? Let me get the address here. Is that all in your current building right now?
The one that we started was not at this address.
But now is it currently at 323
now
South
it's at
11th
323
in
yes.
Mount Vernon?
Yes.
Okay. I had to sit when I was looking at your website, the Subculture MTV, and I first time I looked at that, I thought, is this like an MTV? My age is showing, like Subculture MTV. I had to think, and it finally hit me, Mount Vernon. You know, it took me like
there
20
you
minutes. I
go.
was like, is he on MTV?
Yeah.
Because I know you got a band, you're cool. Same thing. Yeah, you thought the same thing?
Nice.
Dude.
We're getting old.
We're getting old.
We are. We have a
He's
big,
got my
we have a big
MTV.
spot on music television. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's very cool. So I had to work through Mount Vernon because we don't use MTV as we just go those people
Right.
north of us, those Mount Vernon people. That's where we turn left to go to St. Louis,
Right.
Yeah, so Mount Vernon. So you've got your store up there. So the thrift store, what is it called?
It's called the Kingdom of Treasure.
Kingdom
The
of
thrift
Treasure. I think I've got a picture of the lower left. I guess the lower left picture there would be that.
That's part of what we got going on. Yes.
So how do you get your thrift? People bring in stuff?
People bring it from donations. We get people's estates. We get leftovers from yard sales. We have, it's just crazy. We have a I don't know, 50 by 80 warehouse just full of stuff people bring in. And then earlier this year, my friend reached out to me, and he had a kind of a same type thing going on. The people left because they got behind on everything and left him all the inventory. So we took on another store as well.
Wow.
That has a full store plus another warehouse the same size as mine full of stuff too.
So you're blessed with space. You can turn it over and stuff like that.
Yeah. So we just have a lot of stuff.
So let me say this to you. If people, I'm going to bring this one up, and I'll talk more about this donate link in a minute
Yes.
about financial, but you can give them a call. There's a number there, 618-316-2816. They will call you back. He called me back the first time I called it, and I appreciate that. 323 South 11th Street. If you'll reach out to them, there's an email there, the subculturemtv@gmail. If you've got an estate, you've got things you want to drop off, work out with them, get it there. If you're up in that Mount Vernon region, you've got a place to take your stuff to and let them work through it and then turn that into ministry. When you get stuff and you run it through the thrift store, what does the income from that help you do?
sustain the building. We have no government help whatsoever.
You're not on a bunch of grants and a bunch of
No,
stuff like that. It's how we started the House of Hope, by ourselves with churches.
Exactly.
And now we have more stuff down the road. You get grants and
Right.
stuff, but you're at the stage right now where you're still on your own.
Yeah, and once in a while we get a donation from a church or
We call that
organization.
crowdsource. So the crowdsource would be the people that donate
Exactly.
stuff. Yeah, you're
Yes.
crowdfunded.
Yeah, so through that though, I mean, we've had the building for 4 years now, and we've put in a shower, so we have a community shower.
Very cool.
We have a food bank. We have people that just come from all over, bring us food. We have a guy that came from Chicago, brought us food.
Let me throw this up. This shows you some of the things.
Sure.
And the radar, you see at the community shower, it's in the bottom right there. Food bank, hygiene products available to
Yes.
people, clothing distribution, and meal prep.
Yeah.
So you help them with food even too, and
Yep.
help them with food.
Yep, and the distribution is pretty wild because you never know where you're going to be needed. And last fall, we were asked if we could send some stuff to the Ukraine, so we were able to send 6 cases
Very
of
cool.
product to the Ukraine. Then the next week or so, someone came up and their daughter had shopped at our store, knew our mission, and she was going up to help open a homeless shelter in Rockford, Illinois. So our parents came to ask if we could donate anything, and we were able to send them with cases of clothing, also cases of meats because they needed some meats to get started, and because we have the food distribution, we were able to do that. We helped to cover all the warming centers in Southern Illinois last year
Very cool.
with clothing, hats, coats, gloves.
Very cool.
We got a guy that's really dedicated to Celebrate Recovery, and he works with all those. So
Our friend
that's
that'll be
great.
here a little later, Dan Piles, Take Action Today. We've done a show on them on our Spotlight. They've got some warming centers and stuff
Yeah.
down, shower places. They're working mostly with people in recovery, but they've got some centers across Southern Illinois in different
Yeah.
places. I can't wait to interact in with you. And like the House of Hope that we work with down here, we do meals and some distribution, and we have a thrift store similar to what you have. We just all ate lunch there today, and John will be here on set a little bit later. So you're doing. I got a list of some of the things you're doing up
Sure.
here. So I pulled this off your site, resale store. So that's the treasure store, bookstore.
yeah, my wife runs the bookstore. It's called DIY Books. Where we're at, I mean, in Carbondale, you have Barnes and Noble. St. Louis area, you have bookstores. Evansville, but
There's nothing your way.
Right, we're the only bookstore in about the 50-mile radius. And my
Yeah,
wife-
people don't really didn't
Yeah.
want to read. They just avoid reading in Mount Vernon, right?
And it's crazy because we have people that drive 20.
Now that you got a
30, 40
Starbucks,
miles,
everybody needs a book.
So, right.
Oh yeah.
Well, we're working on the coffee thing too.
Yeah,
so-
yeah. We're talking to my son at Crown Brew. This is here's a craziness about it. We've done shows on Crown Brew, of course, and Crown Brews. We should have brought their cups over. They were one of our sponsors. Crown Brew. So I'm talking to the brother for the first time. We're just comparing notes of what we know. I said, well, who do you know in Marion? He said, well, the only thing I know in Marion is we go to Crown Brew. I said, I know Crown Brew. My son owns Crown Brew. So that was our first connection. The second thing is, who do you know that way that I might know? And he's friends with John Henninger. I said, well, we know John Henninger. Josh is opening up. John's helped us with a lot of big things down here. And the first 2 people he knew were Crown Brew and John Henninger. And those 2 things to me were enough to go, we need to have real coffee. So, I mean, there's how does God put somebody together? You got to go to Kokomo, Indiana to find somebody that knows Crown Brew and John and what's going on at Central Christian. And they're doing church at down Carbondale here. So
Yeah.
that's how you're coming through, I guess.
And
here.
my son actually is one of the media directors at Central.
Oh, that's fantastic. I have not had, I'm trying to get John in here for season
Good
3 or 4.
luck.
Yeah, I know.
Come on,
To try
John.
to do our Building a Stronger Church. I'll get him in here. If not, I'll show old stuff of him.
Hey, speaking of the bookstore, and they're starting a church in Carbondale. There used to be a bookstore in Carbondale called Bookworm,
The bookworm.
and they had used books.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was so popular.
Really?
And they
We
closed
have-
down.
We have a
couple
big
years
section
ago.
of used books, and we have new books as well. So,
Well,
but we
his
want to
church might
continue
want
to.
to. I mean, you guys might
Be something
yeah.
to offer
wanna
out
look into
there.
doing
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
Carbondale because
Right.
We're hoping to talk Josh.
it was really successful.
Josh into
there.
doing some sort of coffee shop with him up the road, and Josh told me he's very interested. So we're gonna try. We'll get you back down when Josh can connect, and
Absolutely.
we'll just have coffee. Next
Yeah.
time you and your wife come this way, we will plan that better.
Sounds good.
I tried today, but the boys out on a project today and doing a lot of stuff. So
He's a busy.
but
guy.
they know Crown Brew, so they got good taste in coffee. He actually, you're more the soda guy than the tea guy.
Well, here's the deal. I'm not a coffee drinker. My wife is, but I'm the sipper. I'm like, hey, let me try what you got. And I'm like, that's pretty good. I might be able to drink
You
that.
might be able to put up with that.
But I won't ever get one because I don't know that I could drink the whole thing.
Yeah.
So,
Steve, how about you? You do coffee?
Oh yeah.
You do coffee. You do a little coffee.
love my coffee.
So okay. So you've got the resale, the bookstore, the distribution center, donations. We'll talk about how to get donations to you in a minute, like stuff. but we're also talking about how to financially give. We'll do that in a minute. But people can just bring stuff to the store,
Yeah, as long as normal business hours.
normal business hours, and we're going to put those up in a little bit too.
Yeah.
I think I have those. I don't know if I do or not, but we'll get you to tell us those in a minute. And then music, you do music.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Yeah, of course you do. Worship services, outreach services. Tell us what those things look like. What is that whole?
Where do you want me to start?
Yeah, wherever you want to start, whatever makes you comfortable. Worship. Start with worship.
So a crazy thing. I went to a place called The Send in Kansas City back in 2021 or 22. I don't remember.
And who led that? I know who. I know that. Was that put out? Not what's his name? Not Mike, but the guy that.
Well, Mike was part of it.
Mark was part of that, but there's the other guy.
Yeah,
There's a prayer guy.
Yeah, that guy.
The prayer guy.
Yeah.
The Bound for Life prayer guy. Not Jonathan. Jonathan works out there.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, so we went there and we hooked up with
Big event.
Right. We hooked up with a tent ministry there.
Oh,
and they didn't have a state representative. And I tell people all the time, God sets me up. So what I did is I filled out my application for the Send, and everybody got direct tickets. I got an invitation to be a part of the leadership committee.
Very cool.
For this tent outreach. And they're like, we will put you in for a possible leadership position. I'm like, it's not what I applied for. So I say God always sets me up.
Yeah.
So I got an email back asking to give them a call, and they made me the Illinois director. That got me interested in tents. And then they've kind of disbanded and took a different path, so it doesn't quite work the same way. Now it's Tent America. So it's kind of gone a little ways, so my position's kind of, but it got me involved in the whole tent thing. And that was one of the things that God had told me to believe for whenever I was still touring, to believe for tents. And I'm like, well, that makes no sense. What do I need tents for? And so we do this lead. I'm going to the worship. We do a thing every fall called the King City Awaken on our property. And that's where I bring leaders together from all over. And we do 2 days of testimony, sharing, and praying and interceding into those things. So,
very cool.
Long story short, Steve's part of that, and that's So anyway, but that's how that all came about. That's the worship part of it. I also write worship music. But also play rock and roll. So
I love that. We're going to get into that in just a second. So you've got.
Isn't it funny though how you go to things just hoping to kind of blend in and participate,
and God goes,
and you end up
trust me, I know that.
Yeah.
I mean, a leader's a leader.
Yeah.
I tried as hard as I could to go to KCF and be invisible.
Yeah.
Because I'm in charge. I do so much
you
around here.
You show up and you're like, I know what's wrong.
Yeah.
It's like it's very simple fix.
But I was sitting in center field trying to stay out of it, and vehicles were coming in there and asking for help.
Right.
And we only been there 1 year, so it's crazy. So it was funny because by the end of it, we're really helping out a lot of things, and it's good to serve other people and help with that. It's nice to serve other people. It's nice to go. We have a saying that we use that we've learned to use a lot. It's an old saying: "Not my monkey, not my circus."
Right.
But I sure know those clowns.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Not my monkey. But so when I was at KCF and they were having trouble this year with a couple
but
things.
You're not calling KCF a bunch of clowns.
No.
Well, let's clarify.
I'm just saying I work with
Let's
the similar.
clarify this.
I'm just saying
Angie, he really loves you. He
we
talks
love you,
about you all
Angie.
the time.
I'm just saying I have those clowns here too. So what you were having to deal with, I have to deal with. So when you asked for help, it was easy because I'm well equipped for it. I have my own circus with our own clowns.
So can I tell you?
Yes.
Can I tell you
Go ahead, brother.
how this
I would
festival thing started?
Okay, let me throw this up here. Okay, at Kingdom Come Festival, it was just over. It's usually that June 15th, 16th week. So it'll be coming up in 2025 again.
Right.
So start watching for it. They'll start putting stuff out in January or stuff. But your team led one of the entire stages there. They have multiple stage event.
Right.
And you led a stage that's been renamed the Subculture Stage.
Yeah.
Which I thought was going to be nothing but recreants and like really crazy stuff. And it was. But they were recreant and crazy for Jesus. They were like Elishas for Jesus. And it ended up being it was a powerful stage, and it was so well organized this year. So tell us about what that looked like. Kingdom Come Festival. Y'all go find KCF Facebook. Go find their webpage. subscribe, like whatever you got to do so you can stay in the loop and be a part of that next year. It's a free all day, 3-day, Thursday night, Friday, Saturday. It's worth traveling to. You can camp on site. It is a phenomenal community of people. So tell us about how you got involved and tell us about what that looks like for you.
Okay. So I got involved. The guy that was actually doing the stage before me, I was going to tell you how that all started. I went to a festival called Audio Feed in Urbana in 2019. And we got there, and there were 2 stages, and we were supposed to play this stage over here, but there was no sound system. So I walk up, I'm like, what's going on? We're supposed to play here in a couple hours. There's no sound system. Well, the guy had fallen off the face of the earth. They couldn't get hold of him. His wife couldn't get hold of him. Nobody can get hold of him. And I'm like, oh, so you need a sound system? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, I got one in my truck. I'll set it up, or in my trailer. I'll set it up, and I'll run sound for you. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, for free? And I'm like, well, I have a sound system. You have a stage. You have bands starting in an hour, and you have no sound system. So, yes.
How about a bottle of water? I'll take a bottle of water.
Right, to keep this going.
Yeah.
They had to go get the guy that was over the whole thing to come talk to me because they didn't believe me. And
I
so
know.
the guy's like,
Been there.
You're really going to do this? And I'm like,
Yeah.
So that opened the whole floodgate for the festival movement.
Wow.
I hadn't even started the subculture at this point. This was 2019. We didn't start till 2020. And then through that connection, I worked at Audio Feed 2022. They had me do another stage. And then last year they gave me a stage to actually produce. So then that spurred to KCF. They heard about it, asked us to come to KCF, and it's just kind of branched out from there.
And so I'm going to try to find this here in a second. I'm digging into my resources here. So this year, the stage kind of migrated to be a specialty stage. There was a group of bands there, and I'm going to bring up that in a minute. Give me a little bit of feel about how you put that together. Is that a one-time only event? Are you just doing that there and that's it? Is it one and done? What does that look like for the Subculture Ministry?
Audio Feed. Which one are you talking about?
Well, what you're doing with the stage there, is that like is Kingdom Come the only place they're ever going to see you do that?
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Is there other
no.
opportunities?
Right. Yeah, there are other opportunities. I've had somebody through this whole thing heard about us in Page, Arizona. They've contacted me. They want to put a festival together because I also coordinate festivals. So Page, Arizona reached out to me. I've had
In Arizona?
Yeah.
Wow.
I got somebody in Colorado interested. We got that weekend we had a guy from Ohio, 2 people from Ohio. Had another guy that actually runs a bikers chapter, which I talked to Steve about, in Kentucky. He said, whatever you're doing in there needs to be at my bike rally next summer.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay. His name's Aaron, and we've been talking. It was crazy. It was every 5 minutes. Can I talk to you outside the building, please? Can I talk to you outside the building? You know, and your mind automatically goes, oh no, what I do? You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's been pretty crazy.
Let me see if I can. I'm going to try to. I'm trying to fix something here. I've never done this in show. Let's see here. That's crazy. Okay, I'm going to see if I can go to. There we go. All right, I'm going to see if I can go. This was there. There we go. See, that's what I put up on you on Sunday. Oh, see, that's a good mug of you. I stole that. I don't know where I got that from.
From the website.
From the website, yeah. All right. Oh! I promise I would do that. I would.
There's Grave Robber.
Yeah, so I got. Oh, we're gonna show them in a minute. All right, so here you go. Here it's back up. I think there we go. All right, Subculture. That right one is an example. If you go to Kingdom Come Festival, you can see what was played this year, June 14th to 15th, and that stage basically 2 days of talent you put together, coordinate with them, and work with the bands. Some of those bands are just incredible. I mean, they're all incredible, but the headliner for the 14th. I mean, that was the band I gave the most hard time to the previous year because before we ever went, I said, they're like a bunch of zombies. You got to see this picture of them. They're like, it's horrible, you know? And I get there and they're the best band of the night with the best shtick. They gave the gospel.
And the best ministry.
And Pete, the whole crowd that was outdoors the previous year, they were captivated by it, you know, just like, I mean, when they'd minister, it's just like everybody's stone cold quiet, you know? Because first of all, they're using a shovel in their hands, so they get you quiet. But then it was just so cool. And then you had 2 incredible couple days of talent. And then let me show you this. This is where we were set up out in center field this year. This year we had our Hands Hope booth out there. We were sponsored this year. You can kind of see the crowd out there. That's one of the stages. Yeah, and then this is us getting a chance to do a little presentation on the stage. That's a little bit of crowd of stage one. This is my granddaughter, Addison, front row when Grave Robber comes out, and she's a country music person. She's never seen anything like this, and she's looking at me. She's like all smiling, like, this is not going to be cool. This is
No,
Grandpa.
we
Why are you
told her,
making?
we were back in the tent, and we said, "Okay, Addison,
We're in the
we gotta
tent.
go
She's
over to
got
the
her
building."
things set up like, I'll stay here.
She says, "I'll stay
No,
here.
you
I
won't.
can hear it from here." We're like, "No, you
got to come see this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She's up front singing the VeggieTale song before they come out, and she's
that is like the big draw. I think
everybody's
that's
singing,
what
the whole
gets
room
everybody
singing.
to-
And then next thing you know, this other creepy dude in a shovel comes up by her, and she's looking at me like, Grandpa? So don't worry, I got him. And then they come out, and you see her mouth drop. Now it was cool. And she was rocking. I went back and sat down, and she's like, Grandpa, you come stand up. I said, Grandpa's too old for that. I said, I'm going to sit back here. And then this is her at the end of the night.
That's awesome.
Isn't that great? This
She's got the shovel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy with the eyeball hanging out, that's one of my good buddies.
He got the eyeball hanging out. I just love that.
I love them.
So you're taking some groups like this and you're doing other shows in other places. Give me a feel again. Where are places where people can find some of your music and stuff going on?
You can go to Spotify, you can go to YouTube.
And find the music for As We Are for your team. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me do a little bit.
So Gravedigger,
Go ahead.
I like them, so I want to talk about them.
I mean, Grave Robber.
Grave Robber.
Grave Robber does shows other than
Yeah, I mean,
Christian shows, right? They
yeah,
go to some other.
Yeah.
Because my daughter has seen them. My youngest
Right.
daughter has seen them
Well,
at other
funny,
festivals.
the funny thing about As We Are is we never played a lot of the Christian market when we were touring.
Right.
Before we played clubs. I think I shared that during our show. We were a club band, and so we literally were collecting canned goods and stuff in bars to take out to the homeless community.
And I
'Cause
think
we
a
would-
lot of people are not aware that goes on.
Yeah,
you
we part of our thing was come to an As We Are show. You bring a canned good or something,
Right.
And we go into the cities and distribute that. We had a motorhome. We'd stick them in the bays of our motorhome. We see somebody on the side of the road. We'd stop, give them food. We would go to Skid Row, play a show. Somebody gave us a bunch of army sleeping bags, like the really heavy ones. We literally would,
Very
while
cool.
they were sleeping, we would lay them beside them. So
Donna's
when they
liking this.
woke
She's
up-
nodding her head over there.
When they
This
woke
is-
up,
yeah.
they had a sleeping bag.
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
So-
that's awesome.
I mean, that's what we did, and that's grown into what you now have, and it
Isn't
actually
it cool?
started.
And all you did was you gave
Yeah.
what you had.
That's it.
You freely gave it. You freely offered it for use.
Yeah,
And that's where God took it.
yeah.
You know, and people have a hard time with that sometimes. It's amazing what a hard time people have with. I had some lady in front of me in the grocery store once. She didn't have enough money to pay her. She had almost enough,
Right.
but she was buying healthy food. It wasn't a bunch of junk or cigarettes or And she was going to put a couple things back. I said, "I'll get that. Don't worry about it." The cash register lady was just like, "Why did you do that?
Yeah,
Why would you do that?"
because you live to be a
Well, because
blessing.
she needed it.
Yeah, she needs
It's his
She didn't
blessing
have
on
enough
other
money. You
people.
just yeah.
Yeah.
But people are really taken aback by that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
are.
They don't understand. it.
generosity. In the
But to us, it's just like the natural thing to do.
Right.
I
You
went.
don't even have to think about it.
I grabbed a couple pictures of your band.
Yeah.
Tell us about your bandmates here. And this isn't the end; it's only the beginning.
Yeah. So, funny thing, we wrote the record before COVID,
Really?
and we were going to call it. This isn't the end; it's only the beginning, and we had no idea that COVID was about to hit.
Yeah.
So it was very prophetic because after COVID, I shared this from the stage. You know, I always said if God wanted me to stop playing music, he was going to have to stop it. So COVID pretty much put a stop.
Wow.
But the thing is when you have a passion for something so strongly, when you can't do it, you begin to hate that thing.
Yeah.
That's because you want to put as much separation between you and that thing that you can't do because you don't want it. You want to be tough and you don't want it to affect you. So you begin to put these walls up and start hating this thing, right? So Eli and Caden started playing with other bands, and I refused to play. I absolutely refused to play. And Caden, the drummer, is my son. And Eli came on board about 2018. He's become like a son to me as well. And so I I was the one that didn't want to play because I was busy and COVID was still going on, and I'm like, I'm just going to wait and see what happens because I'm not sold. You know what I mean? And so the album name started becoming prophetic because it looked like, you know, I even put on my Facebook, I said, the day music died.
Oh,
Literally, like, I mean, to me, the day music died. And
It was a depressing time. Too.
yeah, it was you can ask my son, I was in a dark place. Like, I mean, I was in a learning phase because I was learning to do something different, you know, in a building, but I was in a dark place because the passion I had for music was gone.
So let me ask you a question. So as you went through that break and separated from music a little bit, and you weren't doing festivals, you weren't leading festivals then.
No.
So you go out of music and you're gonna get farther away, and now you're back in producing festivals of music.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
That's crazy.
It's prophetic because
Yeah.
I went in and nothing. And now Jesus has brought us completely full circle to where even I tell my friends, you know, I'm running stages.
You're the Moses of heavy
they're like-
metal. You're the
they're
Moses
like, well,
of Jesus heavy metal.
no,
He goes off in the wilderness and comes back to lead his
Right.
people out into the festival.
No, and they're
I
like,
love it.
A double portion.
That's a double portion. Yeah,
Well,
I agree.
and all of
Yeah.
them say, how'd you do that? And I'm like, I don't know.
I
'Cause I
do.
really
God.
Look, I share this all the
I
time.
do.
I share this
Yeah.
all the time. I think God needs to know that He's first.
That's right.
Preeminence. The preeminence of God is important. My wife and I faced a thing about 2 years ago where I thought the Lord was going to literally take us out of the country, put me in a ministry in the Middle East. I had heard the Lord get up and speak to me after a hard trial here. We'd gone through and won the trial, but I thought when the Lord woke me up the next morning at 6:15 in the morning to get up, because I'm not a morning guy, and I heard the Lord say, get up, and I thought, I'm getting to the woodshed. He's going to fire me. The Lord's going to finally fire me. Thank God. Thank God. You know, when Paul got stoned and was dead, don't you think he was disappointed sometimes when he woke up in the ditch and got out? You know, he's like, finally, I'm home.
I'm free.
Yeah, free. But no, he gets back up. So I get up at 6:15 to go do my devotion. My wife heard me get up, and I go in my office, and the Lord speaks to me and tells me, I want you to be patient. I want you to be obedient to what I'm fixing to show you. I thought, oh, great. You're going to fire me. Thank God. And then the Lord, then I get a phone call like 12 seconds later. I don't take phone calls at 7 a.m. It's from overseas. It's about an offer for a job, another church overseas, big opportunity. And I thought, I would never do that. But the Lord just told me, be faithful. So I said, yeah, I'll consider this. Let me talk to my wife. Went and told my wife. She just got up a little bit later. And it was something that I knew she wouldn't consider. And originally she laughed and walked past me. And she'll give different stories over there. But she walked past me and kind of went in her bedroom and kind of slammed the door. You did slam the door. You slammed the door, and because the place is very hot, like 120 degrees hot, and I thought that's the end of that. So I was going in to type them and tell them it's not going to happen. My wife's not for it. She walks through the door and tells me the Lord told me to go, you know, to be comfortable going where He leads us. And I thought, dude, my wife doesn't change her mind like that. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
She walked in, it's like, I'm the, oh my goodness, I'm set up here. So I called the guy and said, we'll consider it. We went through this whole process and almost left the country, only for the Lord to say, now I'm ready to give you this next level of ministry.
Can I share
Same
something
thing.
real quick? So I've shared on this before. You know, you have a promise that God has given you, and you're always striving toward that promise. You're always believing, sowing into that promise, believing, right? And then you hit your Moses moment. So, or I'm sorry, Abraham moment. 'Cause
Abraham, Isaac.
Abraham, you know, God told him, I'm going to give you a son. So Abraham goes and messes up and has Ishmael and all this. And finally, God gives him the fruition of his promise. And he goes, now I want you to go kill it.
That's exactly what I feel. That God wanted to know if I'd kill
And so God wants to know if the promise he's given you has taken over you, or if you're still willing to lay that promise down.
Are you still a
Crisis.
friend of God above all
To-
things?
Exactly.
Crisis of belief.
And so let me tell you real quick, I hate talking about myself.
No,
but-
do it, please.
But here's what happened. Audio Feed was a festival my band could never play, ever. We got one invitation in 2019, and they didn't have a sound system. So God didn't say, hey, you're going to go play Audio Feed. You're going to go serve at Audio Feed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay? So I ran sound all weekend. 2 audio feeds later, I'm running a whole stage at the festival that would
Wow.
never even let my band play.
Yeah.
KCF never could play KCF. Never. 2021, they asked us to come play. The band was busy, so I went and played acoustic. It was the hardest show of my life. It was terrible, absolutely awful, and I was distraught. So last year they asked us to play as a band, okay, and that was our first show back as a band, so that was tough too. 2023. Running a stage again, a festival you can never even play, and here you are running a stage.
But you were ready to walk away from it all just previously if the Lord told you to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because he told me on the road one day, he goes, "Don't be so distracted by the one opportunity that you miss the others."
Yeah.
Faithful the little.
And he said also, I remember that I told you I couldn't remember the other thing. The other thing he said, I want you to go through every opportunity, even if it looks like a mountain. I want you to go through it.
Yeah.
But it's amazing when we look back to where we were and when we thought, okay, that was it, to where we are today. I mean, you have to be excited for what God is doing, knowing that His hand is upon you.
Let me share with you something. We're talking about the subculture, the building, and we're talking about the music and all that's involved with it. But let me tell you what else He's done.
Let's hear it.
I have a full music team like Steve in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
One of the members is in Arizona. The other part of my team is Indiana. And they help me do all this. My lady that helps me with the graphics made the postcard. One of our guys is in Chicago. He did the website you see.
Yeah.
So it's a team, right? And God just brought me these people. They were at Audio Feed last year, and they're like, we got to be a part of this. Okay? So you've got.
Are you shocked by it, or is this just the way God works for you normally?
I was shocked by this, absolutely, because
He shouldn't be, because the way God has had His hands on since I've known Dale, it's a miracle.
Then so let me tell you the other part of it, okay? So I've got this team, right? And then God brings me these pastors in Southern Illinois, like Steve and Robert and KJ and all these people that have helped me on this side of things. So you've got like this weird thing of like churchy people, not
them people.
Did he just insult you, Steve?
Them people. I'm one of them.
You want it? The church has become them. I'm for that.
So
you know what I'm saying? Well, all the pastors I'm working with look at churches as being them too. So, but I'm saying you have like this whole team here, and then you have this whole team here. Now I'm trying to say, okay, guys, now we've got to bring all this together
You gotta mesh it together.
under one tent, right?
Yeah.
We've got to bring it together because that's where it's at. I mean, that's cool. We got this team and we got this team, but somehow these teams have to come together and join together and become one. So we're working on that now. So that's the crazy part of it all for me.
Yeah.
I think. And then there's the bigger picture. We were talking about where's this thing going? Well, we take a lot of people in from the street, right? Well, it doesn't do any good to take them in if you can't redirect them, right?
And help them find something to do.
Right.
Exactly.
So the Bible, the Bible tells us we've been given the ministry of reconciliation. Well, what is reconciliation? That is putting things back in the right standing of how God created them to be. So that is your gift in the earth, is to reconcile things, to reign as a king, and not just as a king, but also a priest.
Yeah.
Right.
So your job here is to bring as many people under your umbrella, to bring them into an understanding of what their purpose is, train them. And what's horrible, I know this is going to sound really bad, you'll find that the people from the street are a lot more trainable than people that sit in a pew on
Amen.
Sunday.
I will absolutely.
Because
Amen.
I'm being honest with you, and the reason why is because they're uneducated on Christianity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They just see an opportunity and they're like, "Oh, that's cool. I'll be a part of that." Like, you know what I mean?
You're getting out of that big box religion.
Right. And I think I tell my wife all the time, I said, none of this really makes sense because you'll pour out to these people, and they'll continue to shoot themselves in the foot. But do you quit helping them? No, you have to keep helping them. And I keep going back to David. David rose up a whole army of subculture people that were rejects.
Yeah.
That was his army of 400, then 600. They're the ones that went out of town with him and came back in town with him.
And
They
let me
killed
tell
giants.
you, if you do the numbers, okay, if you do the numbers in American dollars, when they went to give offerings for the temple, each one of his men gave in excess of $2 billion per person.
What they brought
Wow.
when they were building the temple, Dave gave everything he had.
Yep.
Then it says what his men gave, and it was
Yes.
extraordinary. I just preached on this, didn't
Yes.
I, last week?
In excess of $2 billion per person.
This is a place covered in gold.
And this is a place, where we teach people you're supposed to be impoverished.
But he also showed them when they brought in the water, he poured out the most precious thing. He showed them a life of it all belongs to God.
Right. My point being, though, that is what God has given us here.
Yeah.
But we have taken, and I'm not dissing your theology teaching.
No,
at
go
all,
for it.
But we take preachers and we put them to school to learn how to present the gospel.
No, I understand.
Because they gotta be certified and go through college.
Yeah.
And we train them
Been
how
there,
to
done that.
teach.
Yep.
Right?
Right.
And you never are going to go in and probably hear those type stories. You're going to hear, even Jesus had no place to lay his head. Well,
Right.
let's put that scripture into context. Okay. I hate people that cherry pick scriptures to back their beliefs or whatever. Let's look at the context of everything here, okay? So your job is to reconcile, train, and send to people. So our next step has to be beginning to educate these people. So we've found out over the last 6 months that we've got to have a program. We want to help people, but we've got to have a program in place that works. Like you come in here, you sign paperwork. This is our rules. This is where you're going to stay. This is what you're going to do. Bomb, 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 bomb. And then you go through our program, okay? Because we are very underfunded. We're very underspaced. I mean, we've let people sleep in this little closet that we have. That's all we have, But to us, that's a big sacrifice because we live in the building. We don't even have a house. We sleep in our building, and so when we close the doors, that's our alone time, and to open that up to other people to be there 24/7.
It's very risky.
It's
Expose yourself.
it's a lot, right?
We understand.
So we've learned now that we are ill-equipped to do what God has called us to do. So now the next move is how do we begin to facilitate this? And I tell people all the time, you have to cultivate an infrastructure that allows people to succeed. Mm-hmm. And I believe that, we have good intents with what we've done, but we've not really given them an infrastructure to succeed.
Right.
Because we don't have the rules, the regulations, the mentorship that they need, because we're so busy doing the day-to-day activities that we've basically cultivated a place where they can come, stay, and continue to do the crap they're doing, but have a place to come back to.
So the next stage, which we're going to get into in our third show,
Right.
is
Sorry,
what's
I didn't mean
next.
to
No.
I wanted to go back
No,
to
that's good.
the thing you said way back there.
But there's another move.
Absolutely.
When you speak about we need to reign as kings, I'm sure I know what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see people getting hung up on that. Oh, what does he mean by that?
Right.
Well,
So
kind of expound
okay,
on that.
I will expound on that. I don't mean literally adorning us as kings. That's not what I meant. God gives you I'm saying everybody needs to reign because God gives you an allotment of ability to help people and to do things. So you need to reign as a king. In other words, you need to take those resources and use those things to help other people.
Yeah.
So let me kind of explain that to you. You have a good king like David. Was he perfect?
No.
Absolutely not. He wasn't perfect.
Right.
But he used every resource he had to take care of his people.
Right.
Put his life on the line for his people, right? When even before he was king, the army was scared to death of Goliath and his brothers, and they were like, "What are we gonna do?" And he's like, "Who does this dude think he is?" Like, little David, big Goliath, and he's like, "Who's this guy think he is?" He knew who he was, in Christ. So he's like, "If y'all don't have guts enough to do it, I will," And I think that's just a reprogramming of our brains, because people never see themselves in that position. They see them as being screwed by the man.
Right.
And things are the way they are, and I can't do anything to change it, and I just have to accept it. No, that is not Jesus' status quo.
Right.
Jesus was the biggest troublemaker on the planet.
Right.
And it wasn't like he went in trying to make trouble. He did in the church community because it was garbage.
Right.
But that was not why
Kingdom
he did.
authority and worldly authority clash
Absolutely.
in that. But we have, each of us have kingdom
Right.
authority.
And what's crazy about this is, if you read, who'd the kings turn to whenever they needed advice? They turned to the prophets. Right? But then what would they do to the prophets? Kill them, because they didn't say what they wanted them to say.
That's right. That's right.
So that's not the kind of king that you want to be.
Right.
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 But you need to see yourself, you need to see yourself at the right hand of God with Jesus, because he said he was the firstborn of many brethren in the New Testament. Or in the King James, I add sistren too, because
Right.
he's not opposed to either one. But you need to see yourself that way. You need to see yourself as a difference maker.
We are sons and daughters of the Most High God.
Absolutely.
We are,
Absolutely.
we are part of the kingdom.
Yeah.
I think we need to
We are in
stop.
line to the throne.
We need to stop failing to realize that we also have the resources available
Absolutely.
Because our
Absolutely.
Father owns a cattle on the
because
thousand
he's
hills.
got it.
I will tell you how you have the resources. Are you ready? What kind of car are you driving? What kind of house are you living in? Right? I hear people say all the time, "Oh, God gave me a new car." Oh, did he? Yeah. How much you pay for it? $40,000. That was a good deal. I said, "How much your car payment?" $1,000 a month. I said, "Well, there's half of your income right there."
Right.
And now you're going to complain to me you don't have any money?
Right. You're investing it in that car.
You understand? So if you took that money and were content to live within your means, and take that extra and begin to do something to make
Think
a
of
difference.
what you would have for the kingdom.
Right.
Absolutely.
Let me do this. I'm going to land this one, and because we're going to go much deeper, but I want to
Land
do
the plane.
I want to tag a couple things. First of all, as we are, you guys are playing again. This is your band. You guys are going to be playing at, well, you did Kingdom Come Festival July 7th, which
Yes.
you'll hear this on this show. If it's in reruns, no, but Audio Feed Musical Festival in Urbana, Illinois. And then July 12th, you're going to be at Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Yes, the home of
Life Fest.
cheese.
So check those out. You can always go to As We Are, find out where they're playing next, if this is after that date, and we want you to do that. I pulled the song Addiction. That's off your current
man,
album that
yes.
you just did in September. Addiction out now. People could find this on Spotify or iTunes, you said?
Yes.
Spotify or iTunes. Look up As We Are. I'm going to play a 30-second clip of this just so you can hear some of this heavy metal. What's behind this song Addiction?
So this song is very deceiving, because you'd think addiction's dealing with addiction. It's not really. It's from the perspective of someone that has lost someone to addiction, and how they tried so hard. And Steve, this is not meant to.
Oh no, go for it, man.
Someone that you lost to addiction, and you did everything you could to help them, and yet you still have to deal with the guilt, because
The
it
guilt
wasn't
of
enough.
You wasn't enough. And you wrote the song I saw. You write a lot of your songs,
I
right?
write all the lyrics.
all your songs. Okay. Let me play this 30-second clip from this, and you go check this out, download some of the other stuff, go find them. Here it comes at you. You can go to the Subculture, mtv.org, the Subculture, mtv.org. That's their website. They've got a Facebook site, The Subculture 618. As We Are also has their own Facebook page as well. You got a Facebook page for the other one too. I saw you were doing the festivals.
It's a group, actually. It's the Subculture Community Stage.
That's it. Yeah, you can check that out too. Email them there. You've got that right there. We'll put that in our show notes. Don will have that in our show notes. The Subculture subculturemtv@gmail.com for those on Spotify. Remember, their shop is at 323 South 11th Street in Mount Vernon. If you've got stuff let them have it. Let them do something for the kingdom of God with that stuff. Call them 618-316-2816 for more information. The Subculture is a community outreach based in the Mount Vernon, Southern Illinois area. I guess you guys are almost Yankees for us. We're in Marion. They're in Mount Vernon, but go there. They're providing a space where people can come
from New York
as they are without judgment and better themselves. Their goal is to build relationships with people and to bring the gospel of Jesus Christ to everyone. They are doing all kinds of great things, doing community showers, food banks, hygiene products, clothing distribution, meal prep, and they're about providing a place for those who have been given a community service option instead of jail time. We met a guy at the House Hope today. Who was getting, you're doing the same thing.
That's why I said, that's awesome.
A place where they can come and fulfill those obligations. You want to check out this organization. There's a lot more to them. We're going to get deeper into it. Go check that out. Be a part of that. And we are going to be back in the next show. We'll get into Steve a little bit, find out a little bit more about High Point Ministries in that one, and go just a little bit deeper. We'll be back in part 2, the backstory. We'll find out more about how in the world Dale got saved and got into all this mess and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The Abraham. Yeah. We'll find out. We'll find out about yours too, Steve. We're going to dig into your laundry too. And backstory part 2.
You better brought some time.
But we'll be back for that. I just want to say as we wrap up this episode, I'm trying to find the place where I wrap up this episode at here in my notes here. You can join us at onthedoc.org. Thank you, Mother Beth, for helping us out today.
That was great.
Yeah, it was a great show. At info.onthedoc.org, you can email us. Again, look at the description of the show notes. We'll have links about their information. And if you're watching the show, share it with other people. When you share it with other people find out how to be a part of the Subculture and get the On the Doc message out there so people can learn more about this show and what they're doing. It's incredible. Go to YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. Check out our other platforms. But when you find them, hit subscribe, like, notify, and all that. And there that is. And don't forget, we would love to hear your comments. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Telegram, Getter. You can share stuff, find out how to get a hold of them. Maybe put out links to their stuff. Help us be a voice of what they're doing in the wilderness of Mount Vernon, Illinois. And we would love to have you go to Patreon, become a partner, sponsor the show. Check that out anytime you can. And again, this year we are a partner with SLNT.com. Go check out their products. They're Faraday bag projects. They will protect your right to discretion and being disconnected. Go to there and use promo code OTD to get all of our discounts, or go to our landing page listed right there. We'll show our commercial in a second so you can find out more about their products. So we want to wrap this up by saying, if you don't go to church anywhere in this area, we'd love to have you at Community Faith Church, 10 o'clock on Sundays, Wednesdays, 6:30. Go to COFTV.com, check us out, view us, look at us, see if you like us. Come on out. If you don't like us, go to High Point Ministries. Where's your church at, Steve?
104.
104 in Vienna. Find High Point Ministries. And if you're up in Mount Vernon, where would you recommend go to church in Mount Vernon? You got a place in Mount Vernon?
There are. I'm not going to say any specific church because there's so many. They all help us, and they're all great. Of course, there's Central. There's Victor Christian Center. There's just so many. The Methodist Church up the road from us with Angels. I mean, there's so many.
Reach out. Hey, do this. Reach out to their ministry. Tell them your story, and he'll help you find the right place for you there, because everybody's got a right place. Yeah. Well, I'm Pastor Troy. We're glad you're here with us here. We'll be back in part 2. We'll find out more about the backstory for him. More about Steve here. We're going to get into his laundry. We'll find out what's going on in his life. And as we go out on this and as we wrap up the show, check out our friend SLNT. They'll tell you more. I'm Pastor Troy with Mother Beth here. And Donna Kranuski. We're here on the dock. We'll see you soon with part 2 of this incredible episode, taking it to the streets, and we're taking a look at the subculture. I bet you're part of the subculture. We'll see you back, part 2. Check it out from SLNT. Here it comes.
There are more than 8 billion phones in the world, a fact that threatens your privacy, security, and health. With Silent Pocket Faraday protection, you can regain control over your mobile devices. We get it. Privacy and security are inconvenient topics, and you may feel like you have nothing to hide, but the fact is that in the modern world, your laptop is never really off. Your phone emits a signal, even in airplane mode. And everything from your passport to your credit cards contains RFID, and all of it contains valuable private information that is easily exploited in the wrong hands. Silent Pocket offers a range of products you already use: wallets, bags, travel gear, laptop sleeves, key cases, but with the added protection of our patented Faraday technology, which turns your devices invisible and safe from the outside world. Many industries, from top business professionals to government officials, require the use of Faraday products for the day-to-day security of them and their staff. They understand that we are constantly at risk and take the necessary steps to prevent future attacks. We offer this elite technology to anyone that values their personal data, and we are proud to offer a premium range that fits seamlessly into your everyday life, providing security without looking like a tinfoil hat. As we learn to live with technology, Silent Pocket stands on the 3 pillars of privacy, security, and health. Our goal is to provide harmony with mobile technology without risking our most valuable information. We hope you'll trust us to help you do the same.